Good afternoon. I'm Angela Sylk Powell, founder of Sisters with a Purpose Networking Club. And we're here on the scene today. We're here on the scene this afternoon in support of the Let Your Voice Be Heard Foundation, the Bling event, hosted and sponsored by author Kenni. We're here today to talk about sexually abused victims and who are survivors, who are here to tell their story and share the knowledge and the power of knowing in our community we can make a difference. Stay tuned. I'm Sylk.
My name is Shelby Lard. I'm a producer, entrepreneur, writer, musician. I'm a jack of all trades at this point. You know, I am a victim of sexual abuse. I was a victim of sexual abuse at the age of 7. Me and my sister, we were both raped by a family member, and it went on for years. And now I'm here to tell my story.
Here we are again at the Let Your Voice Be Heard Foundation, the Bling event. And we were speaking about our books, our future books. So tell me, you were saying that you have plenty of poetry written?
Yes.
And you're looking to soon release a book?
Yes, at some point I will.
Oh, okay. We're not going to, you're not giving too much.
Not too much.
So, Sir Shelby, tell us about the book that you're looking to release soon.
Yeah, it's coming out in the fall. It's called African American Husband, The Last of a Dying Breed, you know, because we don't have them no more, you know. And I ain't even old school, so, you know, but I've been raised by great men, you know, that believe in family, believe in everything, you know. Things happen in family, you know. Families stay strong together. So it's gonna be a tell-all book about my life, you know, and the things I've experienced growing up and becoming a father, you know, and a husband.
We'll look forward to the book signing event later on this year, sometime after summer.
Yes, right after summer.
Okay, so tell me, what else do you have in store?
It's a couple things. Now, we can't tell it all. You know, I will say this, you know, if things don't work out with me and my wife, you know, I will be shooting another reality show. I'm not gonna, you know, it's gonna be my own show, so I'm not really gonna speak on it right now. Let me see how things go.
Well worth it. Take the lead, my brother, my king.
Absolutely.
Take the lead. Well, I'm happy to see you here this evening. I'm happy to hear that you're going to be voicing your experience and your testimony with us. I look forward to hearing about that, and I hope to see you again.
And thank you, Miss
Thank
Ann.
you. God bless you.
My name is Mashia M. Bean. Coming out, one of the survivors that did the documentary. So coming out showing support that we're all survivors and we're all part of the same puzzle, just different pieces. I hope that others will be more aware of who's watching your children and be able to talk to your children and get an understanding of how they're thinking and just believe your kids when they tell you something. The awareness I'm doing, I did publish a book about my experience about sexual assault. And it's sharing my story that you're able to still stand and overcome what you've been through. You can't change your past, but you can change your future.
Afternoon. I'm Angela Sylk, Sisters with a Purpose Networking Club, and we're here this evening at the Let Your Voice Be Heard Foundation, the Bling event. I have this evening Pastor Mackenzie. So tell us, why are you here this evening?
Well, I'm here to support Let Your Voice Be Heard. We're here to support advocates, survivors of domestic violence, and anytime we have a platform to do so and to let our voices be heard, then we want to make sure that we do just that.
Now, I heard earlier that you were speaking about the Mackenzie Law.
Actually, it's called the Marcy's Law. Marcy is a young lady from the state of California who was murdered in 1983 by her boyfriend. He called her, after she broke up with him, he called her and said that he was going to kill himself. When she went there to save him, he killed her. So her brother, the next week, and his mother were in a drugstore just to buy medicine, and they found out that the man that murdered her sister was out of jail. So what they did was they traveled from state to state to create a law called Marcy's Law, which helps to notify the victim's family and also the victims that are still surviving of any activity of the person who has either committed the crime or been prosecuted.
So let me better understand this. So we're to say today that there's no Marcy Law here in Georgia?
There's no Marcy's Law in Georgia, and in fact, the only rights that the victims have are considered statute rights. So if the right is violated, there is a statute to say they must be notified. But if they're not notified because it's not constitutional, there's no accountability. So if they're not notified, it's oh well. If he kills her, it's oh well. And it doesn't matter if it's Marcy in California, Marcy in Chicago, Shaniqua in Atlanta, and Shanae in New York. If a person is victimized, they need to have equal access to the law.
Afternoon. I'm Angela Sylk, Sisters with a Purpose Networking Club, and we're here today at the Let Your Voice Be Heard Foundation, the Bling event. And I have with me today founder of hashtag Say Something by Cherie.
With Cherie.
Say Something with Cherie.
Yes.
So tell me, what brings you here today?
Well, I am here to support Kenyatta for her 5th annual Bling event. I also here to cover her teal carpet. I keep saying green carpet. Cover her teal carpet because I have partnered with Still Standing Foundation. I'm their ambassador for domestic violence. So anybody that's affected by abuse, abuse is abuse. So wherever I can be to support, I'll be there.
Well, I heard earlier in an interview that you were speaking that you're not a victim of sexual abuse, but you are a victim of domestic abuse. So tell us, when did that happen for you?
I am a survivor of domestic violence. That actually started when I was in high school. That was my first intro to domestic violence. He began to just bite my lip, actually, small things. People don't pick up on the little things, but that's when it started. A few years later, I would find myself in that situation again with the father of my daughter. There for 7 years, and I ran 600 miles all the way to Atlanta with a 3-year-old daughter to get away, and the journey starts there.
This is Angela Sylk Powell with Sisters with a Purpose Networking Club, and we're here covering today the event, Let Your Voice Be Heard Foundation, the Bling event, hosted by Kenni York. We have many, many here tonight. We have so many testimonies of those who are sexual survivors. Remember, next year we're going to wear teal. That represents sexual abuse survivors. That's what we're talking about today. It's not going to be a sad day. It's going to be a day of knowledge, being educated so that we can make a difference in our community. Yes? Wonderful. I thank you all for joining me today. This evening, we'll go in and take a look at what's going on and listen to the wonderful testimonies that are to be shared today. We thank you.
Speak. Let your voice be heard. Speak, because your life matters. Your words matters. Your voice matters. Your voice must be heard.
Don't let the world away from you. I know it won't cause you time. Don't be held down, don't be held down, don't be held down by me.
Marcy's Law is a victim's rights bill. And primarily what it does is it gives the victim equal opportunity or equal access to the law, just like the perpetrator or the accused. Right now, as it stands in the state of Georgia, the accused can commit a crime and has all these constitutional rights according to the 6th Amendment. They have the right to remain silent, they have the right to an attorney, they have so many rights. However, if a person is victimized or is committed, if a person has committed a crime against in any capacity, they don't have those same rights.
Abuse fact number 2. Most sexual abuse crimes are committed by someone the victim knows personally.
And prevent something even more serious from occurring. It is hard work, but we really do love what we do and receive enormous satisfaction from knowing that we are saving literally many, many lives. Now, needless to say, it does come with its challenges. For example, just recently, we have a husband who has a history of beating up on his wife. She finally has the courage to leave him and does so. She breaks free. But they have a child together. And now she is 8 months pregnant with a son. She ignores his calls and his text messages.
Let's share another fact. Do we have another abuse fact? Abuse fact number 3. We are keeping up. Abuse fact number 3. 1 in 10 rape victims is a male.
I felt like everyone was blaming me
for what had happened to me. And I carried that for years until I broke into 1,000,000 pieces. 1,000,000,000,000 grains of sand upon the shore can never be enumerated, will never be celebrated. Always walked on 10 toes deep, thousands and thousands of times. Do you know what it's like to be naked in a crowd full of people, even with your clothes on, but you feel like everybody knows that you were a dirty little girl because you didn't scream loud enough, you didn't fight hard enough, you were too small, too weak, too scared to fight off the terror on top of you, so you breathe and release.
I am April Kelly, and I am a survivor of sexual assault and domestic violence. I was sexually assaulted 3 times. That's how I lost my innocence. I've been sexually assaulted by a stranger. I went to a party, so I thought. When I got there, I was the only one at the party, me and my friend. And so he told my friend something to make her leave, and he came into the bathroom where I was at, and he assaulted me. I was changing my clothes to put on my bathing suit to go down to the pool. So I left his house, I went to class like nothing was wrong. And someone in my class let me know, hey, you're bleeding, what happened? Your cycle's on, you're bleeding. And I knew my cycle wasn't on, so I left and I went to go get medical attention, and I tried to hide it from the doctor. And she walked out the room and she was like, no, you're not telling me the truth. When you want to tell me the truth, then we can talk. So when she came back into the room, I let her know that I had just been assaulted. She sent me to the police station. The police did not believe me. Police asked me, did you have those shorts on? In other words, I guess I asked for it because I had on some short shorts. And so now I go and I educate police officers, and I travel and I talk to different companies, agencies, governors, officials, councilmen, mayors, senators, and I just try to get the word out that it's not what you wear, no means no.
Talking about sexual assault, domestic violence, sex trafficking, and the sexual assault industry has a hard time getting the same recognition as sex trafficking. Both of them are really the same thing. And we have to make sure that we are talking to our children, both boys and girls, and being able to recognize the signs. And one of the things that we want to talk about with our kids from the beginning is the official words of their body parts.
My passion comes from the fact that I am a survivor of child abuse, sexual assault, and domestic violence. Most people know my domestic violence story because that's my major platform. But sexual assault, just like Rhonda said, that's one of those things that really, you still have that scab that you kind of pick at. It's always been very difficult for me to talk about. It's happened 3 times in my life. The first time I was 10 years old, a female older cousin performed oral sex on me, and that was the first time I had an orgasm at 10 from one of my older female cousins. When I was 20 years old, I was raped by a very, very close friend of the family, somebody that I considered a cousin, and that really scarred me for life. Our family was threatened by his family, who was very well known in the political arena in upstate New York, and we were threatened and told to drop the charges. So I dropped the charges and fled to Atlanta to start a new life, where I met my husband, my ex-husband, who ended up being abusive. Left that abusive relationship. So let me tell you where Marcy's Law comes in, and I'm going to make this very quick. So Pastor Sabrina was up here talking about Marcy's Law, and so
working with Marcy's Law to make sure that no one else has to have that as their reality, and I'm urging all of you to support Marcy's Law. And even if you don't do that, but I hope that you do. I hope you leave here tonight with something that you can take back to somebody else, that they can take back to somebody else, because somebody didn't come tonight, and that person is at home, and that person has been victimized and doesn't know how to get out.
He's on the throne, and he is my own. He is
Oftentimes, those who have been abused are looked at as voiceless, and sometimes their voices are silent. So anytime you have women like Kenni who are getting involved and who are empowering women and taking their power back and letting their voices be heard, it is a marvelous day and a wonderful opportunity.